Okay, I think I am live. All right, cool. Here we go. All right. Maybe y'all can tell me, for those of y'all that are viewing in the comments, if I'm live here. I think I am. Pretty sure I am. All right, let's see here. Okay. Let's find out. All right, got 3 of you on there. Cool, awesome. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, let's see. Okay, 4 of you now. Awesome, awesome. Hey, yeah, we're gonna talk about all that. We're gonna talk about Ryu as a Power Ranger and a couple other things. Hey, how's it going, guys? How's it going, Ram Jam Baka Fred? It's been a while, man. How are you doing? Haven't seen you on there in a while. Can you guys hear me okay? I assume you guys can hear me all right. Loud and clear. Okay, awesome, 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 awesome. You know, we're gonna get this party started here, and I should be able to be on for a little bit, for quite some time, a little bit longer than probably that I normally am able to get on here. Not too long, but we're gonna talk about a couple of things tonight. Let's go. All right. So some big news coming out of San Diego Comic Con this weekend. Outside of that, Ryu Ranger. It's crazy stuff, huh? As we all know, the Toys That Made Us season 3 did confirm they are doing a Power Rangers episode, which is something that I've known about for quite some time. I got contacted about it months ago, but I couldn't say anything. All right, no problem. See the wave. Take your time. Have I heard anything from the Saban Power Rangers channel? Not yet, and I'm hoping everything turns out all right with them. Hey, Revenger, what's going on? Yeah, I'm hoping everything turns out okay with them. I haven't heard anything from them just yet, but I'm keeping my eye out. Keeping my eye out to see what I hear back from them, and hopefully we can get that issue resolved. It's just a shame. It's something that keeps happening to a lot of content creators here. It's a pretty sucky situation. A lot of people that I know that are within this community of, not just making Power Rangers content, but Toku related content, they've been hit a lot by this Saban's Power Rangers channel. And, you know, in my video, I said that I don't have 100% certainty on whether or not they're a false channel, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are some kind of fraudulent channel. I mean, people think that just because a channel is verified, that it can't be a fraudulent channel. I beg to differ on that. I mean, it's, or at the very least, a channel with a check mark, with a verified check mark, could still be a third party channel and be verified just through that third party. So again, look, I don't have any proof whatsoever that it's not affiliated with Saban or Hasbro, but I could be completely wrong about that, and I'm happy to be wrong about that if that is the case. So I don't think it's going to affect Henshin Time in the future, at least not yet, at least from what I know of yet. I plan on still making Henshin Time parts. As a matter of fact, I'm still working on part 10. So I hope it doesn't affect Henshin Time, because I still want to put out those videos for you guys. But if not, I mean, we'll see how things go. Like, I'm still going to try to put those out. But that's also why I started a Patreon too, so that if it does affect videos like Henshin Time, which they are the ones that they get viewed the most, that's why I have a Patreon and stuff like that set up. So because that's a series that I am passionate about still making. So we got some Power Rangers stuff, Star versus the Forces of Evil, Steven Universe, some Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff. Okay. How long am I running tonight? I don't know. I hope to run. I'm going to try to run over an hour. Maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 at most. I don't know. It just depends. We'll see. What do I think about the new Ryu Ranger? Well, somebody had mentioned this on Twitter, and I forget who. I think it was Um, I want to say it was Mars Girl's husband, Josh Knight the First, I believe is how he goes on Twitter. He had mentioned why they wouldn't just reuse the Ryu Ranger costume from Die Ranger, which is a pretty good point. It's like, but then again, I think it was just an excuse for them to make a cool new costume for him. I mean, the costume's all right. I don't think it's anything to write home about, but it's okay. Well, if it's to answer your question, Paul, well, if it is a Saban affiliated channel or a Hasbro affiliated channel, it's definitely going to alienate content creators, especially smaller content creators and maybe even larger ones, depending on how it is that they're pursuing them. It might even alienate them from making content regarding Power Rangers. And that, of course, that's not something you want to do. You don't want to alienate your fans, especially if they're doing things that are within the law. There's no reason why you shouldn't allow them to make content. So, hey, Terrell, how you doing? Well, I'm glad you're into documentaries, Ram Jam. So am I. That's why I make them. So I think Power Rangers franchise would ever have an all-sibling team similar to the one previous Super Sentai season. Like, oh, you mean like Go-Go 5? I don't see why not. I mean, there's definitely a possibility that they can do that, and they totally should do that if they have the ability to do so. I think it would make for interesting storytelling, but I don't think that that's going to happen anytime in the near future unless they do it like that they're all adopted, because they're very much into making the whole cast a diverse group of individuals from different ethnicities and races. So unless they could do it in a way that's convincing that these are all actually brothers and sisters that were raised together, they could do it probably like that, but it might come off as cheesy. I mean, I think that's one of the things that affected Saban's Master Rider when it came out, is that they had this family of a diverse group of people, but it seemed a little bit too off the wall, like they were trying too hard. So I don't know. It just depends on how they do it. If it doesn't come off as try hard, potentially. Am I excited for Jetman coming to DVD in September? I mean, I am. I definitely, that's one that I want to get my hands on. I love Jetman. It's definitely worth the money. Oh, awesome. Hey, Delman. Delmain. Welcome. You're finally here. Randy Marshall, I will actually be in the Toys That Made Us Season 3. I will be in the Power Rangers episode. I'll be appearing in that. So as far as my involvement goes, as far as my involvement goes, they got in contact with me some months ago, and I provided them with a lot of information regarding Super Sentai and some background information on Saban and things like that. So I provided them some information for them to research, things like that. And they also, and I'm also just going to be appearing in the episode, just really talking about a lot of that stuff. I won't reveal too much because I want you guys to tune in and check it out. Why is the Henshin Time logo similar to the Ginga Man logo? I think that's completely by accident. I'm not the one that designed the logo. It's actually James Griffiths, my partner in crime here on this channel. That's the way he wanted to make it. So I don't know if he drew inspiration from the Ginga Man logo. Maybe he did. But he actually drew more inspiration from Go Ranger, from Aka Rangers, the yellow V on him. That's what he had told me originally. So I don't know. I think it might just be coincidence, although I don't really believe in coincidences. I think that that's what it was. Maybe he did see it. I don't know. I'd have to ask him. Any public appearances in the Northeast soon? I don't know. I mean, anytime I go to the Northeast, it's usually to like MagFest and things like that. So if you're around MagFest, I mean, I show up there from time to time. I went there last year, but I don't know, or I should say I went there earlier this year. I don't know when's the next time I'll be up there, but I'll definitely put it out there on social media. Layla Nolan, what's your favorite pre-Jew Ranger Sentai season? Oh, pre-Jew Ranger Sentai season. I mean, definitely Jetman. I like Maskman a lot too. Maskman was good. Um, but as far as like, and Live Man was pretty good too. But of course, I've Jetman all the way. Love Jetman. Jetman's fantastic. What am I looking forward to in PMC 2018? Unfortunately, Devin, I will not be going to PMC this year. Just won't have the time. Can't make it out there. Funds are a little bit stringent right now because of other ventures that I've been doing lately. So that's going to be, there's other things that take a little bit more precedent. So I'm not going to be going there. But I have friends that are going there, like my buddy Easy Rider from Toku Time. He'll be there. Zarin Sepher, who's a Toku Toy reviewer. A couple of those people, they'll be over there. My friend Mr. Weenie Productions, I believe he'll be heading out there again this year. Why did the post Zordon era seasons of PR focus on Rangers as young adults with careers rather than as teenagers with attitude? I don't know. I mean, maybe they felt that because as the seasons were progressing, maybe they felt that because the fan base, they wanted to keep maybe the fans that were growing up with the show to keep them interested, maybe to continue to appeal to them by putting people in more, I guess, real world type of roles. So maybe that's why, but I wouldn't be able to say like specifically as to the reason. That would be my guess, though. That would be one of my guesses. About the non-PR characters being Rangers. Oh, what do you mean, like about non-PR? Oh, you mean like Ryu? I mean, obviously that's being done for, that's obviously being done to get more attention for the brand. It's really kind of hokey when you think about it. It's kind of a little bit silly, because truthfully, I mean, Ryu wouldn't need Ryu or Ryu, I'm sorry, is powerful enough to not really need the Ranger suit. So, I mean, it's obviously being done for publicity and to just like, to me, it feels like they're doing it in an attempt to get more of the video game audience involved in Power Rangers in some way, or maybe they're planning some kind of, foray into a crossover video game or promoting the idea of it. I don't know, but it definitely seems like a publicity stunt more than anything else. At least that's the way I view it. Can these five work together to defeat the Vyram with the power of the Verdonic Matrix and their modern science before the planet is no more? They absolutely can. You need to watch it, though. It's fantastic. A 1993 Power Rangers ping pong game. That's hilarious. How do I feel about Go Busters being adapted into PR? I think it's long overdue. I think they should have done it back when back before they even did Dino Charge. I mean, Go Busters is a great season. It's one of the better written seasons that Super Sentai has had. So I thought it was a big, man. My opinion on that is they missed an opportunity because a lot of the reason why they didn't adapt it over here was apparently due to the toy sales in Japan. They weren't all that great, and they based a lot of the decision to not bring it over because of that. And I thought that was just a big miss. Big miss. Really thought they shouldn't have done that, because the thing is, just because the toys didn't sell well in Japan doesn't mean they wouldn't sell well here. I mean, they were transformable toys. I think that would have appealed to people. The fact that they were spy, they had that spy motif to them, would have appealed to kids. So I'm glad to see they're finally doing it now. Do I think the Super Sentai game would work in gaming consoles? It depends on how it's done, really. But the thing is, I don't think they should do anything Super Sentai related, only because still not a mass audience knows about Super Sentai. And obviously, if they want it to sell well, they have to find a good medium, I would think, between the young fan base, the kids, and the older fan base. What is my favorite PR video game going back to the Sega? My favorite PR video game was the one on the Super Nintendo, the side-scrolling beat 'em up. That was the best one, in my opinion. That was the best. Still, I haven't played a Power Rangers game that has been better than that one. So that one for sure. Power Rangers Hyperforce, to the best of my, I have not heard anything about Power Rangers Hyperforce getting a second season. It's not to say that it won't, but at least up until this point, I have not heard anything. At least not from anybody that is more in the know than me. If I could adapt or readapt any Sentai season, what would it be and why? Oh man, Die Ranger all the way, because of the action. I think it would have really appealed to kids, and those suits were so cool. The Die Ranger suits were so cool. You know, just to see them kind of wasted was a bummer. You know, and plus the Chinese mythology behind the Zords and all that was cool too. I mean, I think they really missed out on an opportunity there to not just go ahead and adapt the suits earlier. But you know, it is what it is. The guy that played Captain Mitchell, no, I actually didn't know that. I can't believe I didn't that I missed that. He must look a lot older now. I like Stranger Things too, by the way. Fantastic show. One of the few Netflix shows that I am very that I have very high praise for. You know, I don't know about Ninja Steel. I haven't watched it yet. I mean, I guess there's really nothing more. I really don't see where they can go any where they can do any worse, I guess, than the last reunion that they had for the 20th anniversary. So we'll see how that goes. Aside from Go Buster, what would I like to see adapted? I mean, I would want to see all of them, all the ones that they've skipped be adapted. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing a Tokyuger adaptation. I would like to see how they would pull it off. I mean, if you think about Go Onger, was a season in Japan that was a little bit more, I guess, campy than what RPM ended up being. I think with a good story, you could turn any Super Sentai season, regardless of how it looks, into a good season with a good writing team. So, I mean, Lightspeed Rescue. I am not a fan of the costumes in Lightspeed Rescue. I think they're among some of the worst I've ever seen, in my opinion, design-wise, but had a fantastic story. One of my favorite Power Ranger seasons. Thoughts on the return of Young Justice on the DC Universe streaming service a few years after it abruptly canceled? I haven't seen Young Justice. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Definitely sounds like a series I would want to check out from what I've been told by other people. So, I guess good for the fans of the show. I mean, it's good to see things that people love returning. Yeah, see, with Time Ranger, see, they should have still adapted that series. Hi, Carlos. Hasbro should make a superhero time. You never know; they might make a block. I mean, just with the advent of services like I'm not sure if you guys have heard of a service called Toku. It started on AT&T Uverse, but they're starting to grow now. I mean, they're still small, but as long as we're seeing like Crunchyroll continue to release things like Ultraman and streaming services like Toku, which that's going to be probably, if they get a good amount of shows, and from I spoke with some of them, they're actually based out of here in Florida, and I spoke to some of the people at the Toku booth at Florida SuperCon last weekend, and they plan on bringing in a lot of like classic Toku on there as well that a lot of audiences haven't seen. Like, you know, they were talking about bringing in some classic Ultraman, you know, streaming some classic Ultraman and getting some licenses for some older Toku shows as well. So that might be the next big Toku streaming site. Just depends on how things go and what they get on there and the kind of traction that they can build there. What Super Sentai season do you think has the lowest ratings in the franchise's history? To the best of my knowledge that I was able to research, I believe the lowest rated season was actually 5-Man, because that is the season that almost got the show canceled. It's either 5-Man or Jacka, because Jacka, that's the thing that people forget about Jacka. Jacka, even though it is a series that is kind of like loved, when it was initially on TV, it was not considered a successful season. It just didn't appeal to kids. So, but it's either Jacka or 5-Man, but I think it was actually 5-man, because 5-man, you know, the sales, from the best of my knowledge, the sales weren't good for the toys, and the ratings for the show weren't good either. So, all right, let's see what do we got here. I've been good, Lewis. How you doing? Thanks for joining the stream. What do you think of Ryu coming to Legacy? I haven't played Legacy Wars, so I mean, maybe I should. I don't know how that's gonna turn out there, though. I think it's interesting. I think it's a publicity stunt, though. That's what I mentioned earlier. They're too cartoonish. But I am not at Comic-Con. Nah, I am here at home. Gal Ranger is terrible, just terrible. Okay. Highest rated PR season. Ooh. That might be In Space. It might be. It's either In Space. No, actually, you know what? I take that back. It might not be In Space. I believe, no, the highest rated season has to by far be the first season. Because the first season, the first and second season, they held a steady #1 spot pretty consecutively. Like, so. I have not seen that trailer yet, Michael. I haven't seen the trailer for that either, but I'm hearing a lot of mixed things from people about the Titan, the Titan TV series based on the Teen Titans. I've heard a lot of mixed things about it. Some people think it looks good, some people not so much. So I guess I'll have to watch it. I'll probably make a video about it after I watch it. They also showed, I believe, a preview for Godzilla at San Diego Comic-Con, so I also want to take a look at that and maybe give some thoughts on that once I've had a chance to look at it. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. You think Super Sentai would go on streaming service like Crunchyroll, since Ultraman is on Crunchyroll? It could, but the thing is, Hasbro has the license. They have the distribution license for Super Sentai. So no streaming services like Crunchyroll, unless they get permission from, I think, see, I don't know how the Shout Factory deal. I mean, I'm sure that Shout Factory will still have the distribution on like DVDs and things like that. But, or maybe not. That might be something that Hasbro might take on. But I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work for a streaming service. I don't know if anything, I think that's where Hasbro would probably try to cash in themselves on that. So, when will PR ever have a female Black Ranger? I don't know, because I don't think there's been one in Super Sentai that has been a female yet. So I guess it'll be whenever there's one in Super Sentai first. Hey, Gotham Knight, what's going on? 5-man's thing is good. Okay. The rating for O Ranger were the worst, though. Were they? That's interesting. You might be right about that. You might be right about that. Because as far as ratings went, I only looked as far as, I only go with the information. I go as far as to the episode I'm covering. So you might be right about that. Best Blue Ranger of all time, worst Blue Ranger of all time. Wow. Best. I think it's probably has to be Billy, right? I mean, Billy had the most development. He might have had the most. Billy and Bulk and Skull those characters might have had the most development of any character in Power Rangers lore, I think. But probably Billy. Worst might be Overdrive Blue, because they basically, he was, for lack of a better way, I mean, they made him out to be a pretty ditzy kind of character. Is Sun Vulcan a part of Marvel? Yes, it is. Sun Vulcan is a co-production that Toei had with Marvel. Have you seen Korean Power Rangers? I have not. I have not, and I know that it's. I think it's called Power Rangers Dino Force Brave or something like that. I haven't seen it. It averaged a 4.5 rating. Interesting. So look more into that. Since season 6, I don't know if it's true. I guess we'll have to wait and see with Teen Titans, see how that goes. So, Terror of Death. I love myself. Oh, this is Q Ranger because Q Ranger was terrible. Well, the suits look cool. I haven't seen Q Ranger, so don't have an opinion on it. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right. Okay. So Common Rider Deno says the Titans trailer is just trying too hard to be edgy, to be honest. Well, that's probably true. I mean, that seems to be the way these days with DC is they're trying to be gritty and dark. Kong vs. Godzilla is probably going to break records in the Asian markets. Oh, definitely. I mean, it'll do well over here too. Should Hasbro do V cinemas for Power Rangers? Well, I think they should try to cash in as much as they can and create, they should definitely take lessons from Saban with certain things, but also do their own thing. I think that's kind of an untapped market. I don't see why they wouldn't go ahead and take advantage of the fact that they can bring that stuff over. So, well, I think that the reason for that, Terrell, is because you got to remember they're getting the footage from Japan. They're getting the Super Sentai shows and they're adapting them. So it's only whenever those Blue Rangers are actually females that they can, make them female characters. I mean, it's pretty obvious, the suits that have the skirts and, the body form and all that. So, I guess that they still will. Okay. So it looks like Shaw Factory will still have them. Oh yeah, the Super Sentai DVDs are definitely a good step in the right direction because you're bringing them to an American audience. I know it's still going to take some time. I believe at some point in time that Toku will become as mainstream as anime. The thing is, I think what holds it back is because a lot of people see it and they initially think Power Rangers and they think campiness and cheesiness, and they don't look further into it than that. They just see what's on the surface and already make a judgment on it. So I think once people get past that, once people start seeing that there's tokusatsu that is geared at an older audience as well, stuff like Garo, I think once they, in Kamen Rider Amazons, once they see stuff like that, they'll change their opinion, and then word of mouth will get around more. That really, when it comes down to it, tokusatsu in a lot of ways is just like live action anime. So without Super Sentai, there would be no PR. Well, maybe. Okay. All right. So let's see what else we got here. So, to quote Linkara, "Shut up, Dax." Oh, from we'll see what happens with that. I have not seen Mega Man X4. They have a Mega Man X4 cartoon or anime. Am I planning to get the Psycho Ranger figures? Well, if I could find some. I mean, but these days I don't really go out of my way to find stuff for myself like that anymore. For my personal collection. So, but maybe. Toy Spider-Man, Disney Man, some Vulcan have their own Earth in the Marvel Universe. That's good. The Ryu Ranger, I don't think much of it. Like I was saying earlier in the earlier on here. I think it's just a publicity stunt. Are you a fan of Dragon Ball Z? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I am a fan of Dragon Ball Z. Did I know that this might be the last year for PMC? No, I had no idea about that. I hadn't heard anything about that. I hope not. I hope it's not the last year for them. But hey, how does the saying go? All good things come to an end. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I hadn't heard anything at all about that, though. This is the first I've heard of that. What is my favorite PR team up? Probably, I think the most well done team up that I found myself enjoying the most was actually the team up between Time Force and Wild Force. I thought that was actually the best team up that I had seen. So, will there ever be an African American Six Ranger? I'm sure. I'm sure that they'll get around to that. I don't see why not. That's true, Baka Fred. That is true. Um, it's just something that Toei does. Toei does that with some of their animation as well. All right. If Marvel started a partnership with Marvel, what are your thoughts on them being? You mean if Marvel started a partnership with Toei? Um, I mean, it definitely would open up the possibility to a couple things, but the problem with it is because it is Super Sentai, and because Hasbro now has the production rights to stuff like that, they won't. I think they'll stay away from that just because of any kind of confusion and things like that. So, what's your least favorite Kamen Rider show that you've seen? To be honest, to be completely honest, that I've seen so far, and I know this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but the least favorite, and I'm not even saying that it's bad, but my least favorite one has actually been Double of all the shows that I've seen so far. Double, it's not that it's a bad show. It was just Toku2 broadcast is not suspended after the Japanese kids show. Or Rebel, Pat, Ultraman. Twin. I guess it's off air. Okay. Favorite PR mentor of all time. Least favorite PR mentor of all time. Well, my favorite PR mentor of all time. Let's see. I thought Doggy Kruger was great, but if I had to pick, the one that I ended up liking the most was actually RJ from Jungle Fury. The one that I liked the least, I thought was the worst. I'd have to think about that one. The one that I liked the least, but I think she was the worst, but the one that I liked the least was probably Dr. K. But I kind of consider her a mentor a little bit, but kind of not. So, but she was a good character. They're gonna make the Legacy Astromorpher. Yeah, I heard about that. They're doing an artisan, I believe, version of it. Ryu Ranger versus Ryu Ranger. You wish Bat and the Sun would stop using JDF too much. Well, that's their boy. They're always going to use him, so. Okay. So the new Dragon Ball Super movie, both English and Japanese version. I haven't seen either of them, so I'd have to check them out. I haven't seen any of the Dragon Ball Super movies yet. I haven't seen Dragon Ball Super at all yet. I have to get around to that too. I hear good things about it. Yeah, Kamen Rider Deno. Yeah, that's pretty much why they keep going to that well. Is just because he knows he's a showman. He knows how to get people excited about the stuff that he's involved in. Are JDF and ASJ still at odds? I don't know. I mean, for the most part, it seems they seem to be on pretty civil terms. That's what it seems like, but I don't know. I don't know any. I don't have any insider information about anything regarding those two specifically or how they're getting along these days. So when she played Dr. K on RPM, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh God, the Power Rangers in space and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles team up. That was so cheesy. It's cheesy. You want to talk about bad, bad. I mean, not the worst thing to ever come across Power Rangers, but definitely one of the campiest, cheesiest things to ever happen in Power Rangers. I've only heard Vic Mignogna and Full Metal Alchemist, and I haven't even watched a lot of it. A lot of it dubbed. I mean, I watched Full Metal Alchemist when it was being fan subbed before it was even licensed over here. So that was a long time ago. Name one of the worst seasons of Power Rangers you can think of. Turbo. Turbo is terrible. The Super Sentai ever cast teenage actors to play the Rangers? I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did. I know that in Mask Man, one of the team members on the team is pretty young. One of the guy that plays Blue Mask, he's pretty young. So he was, I think, maybe 14 or 15 at the time that he filmed Mask Man. What I think of the Power Rangers Justice League team up? I actually want to read that. I want to see what that's all about. See how that played out. I know of it, but I haven't read it. What do you think is Super Sentai mini plot? Well, they had made funny enough, they had made figure eyes of Kamen Riders, so it's only a matter of time for them to do it for Super Sentai as well. I think it's cool that they're doing that. I think it's kind of long overdue. What crossover would I like to see in Power Rangers? Trevor Head asks. Honestly, I mean, I would love to see some old Rangers that haven't appeared in a long time come back, but you know, not to really upstage anybody, but you know, maybe I would love to see the status of the Jason Lee Scott character. So anything that would involve him coming back would be pretty cool. I haven't seen Super Mega Force yet, Ginga Prime. New Broly movie looks promising. Awesome. I'd have to see it. I saw the original Broly movie from Dragon Ball Z back in the day, and the subsequent, I guess, revivals of him. So, all right. Thoughts on the new potential RoboCop movie? Another one? They're doing another RoboCop reboot? Oh man. Ugh. I don't know about that. I mean, I haven't even seen the new. Well, I heard the newer RoboCop, the one that came out a couple years ago. Now at this point, I heard it was pretty decent. But dang, they're going to be doing another reboot. Oh, but wait a minute. No, I think I'd heard something. I think you're talking about RoboCop 4. I think. Is that what you're referring to? Because I had heard something about that, and I had heard rumors about them bringing back Peter Weller and everything. But that's as much as I know. If that's true, I'd be down to see that, just to see how, you know, how they would explain any. Well, I would think they would make Peter Weller look younger in that again, but if they do bring him back, but I would want to see how they're going to explain what's going on with RoboCop now and how to make it interesting. Which 2017 film was that? Oh, Power Rangers or Justice League? That's I don't know. They were both pretty bad. PR franchise ever cast teen actors to play the Rangers? Yeah, they actually did. Austin St. John had just turned 18 when he started on Power Rangers. He was the youngest one in the group. I'm pretty sure they've cast some other ones, and you got to also remember Blake Foster. He wasn't really a teen, I guess. He was probably a tween at the time that he was cast. So, favorite Kamen Rider season. Ooh, Black. Kamen Rider Black is fantastic. It hasn't aged too well. Great season though. Well written. When you watch it though, it's you could see how bad it is from an aesthetic level. But it was like that was 1987. I mean, what could you do? But writing wise, it's fantastic. As far as Heisei goes, absolutely love Kamen Rider Kuga. All right. Would I like to see Super Sentai that goes back in time? I wouldn't mind it. Definitely wouldn't mind. Just skip Super Mega Force. A lot of people tell me that. It's a sequel. So the Baka Fred, the RoboCop movie is going to be a sequel. Okay, that's cool. I'd be down to check that out. I hope they have Peter Weller in there somehow though. Praise Lord Fervis. So I see somebody's been watching Zarin Sepher a little too long there. Nah, he's a buddy of mine. You know, none of the crossovers that they did were too good, Michael Sanders. In my opinion, I don't think they were executed pretty poorly. I mean, the Ninja Turtles one might have been a little bit better done, but that's not saying much. So, oh, so ignores RoboCop. See, but why would it ignore RoboCop 2? Because Peter Weller was still RoboCop in that one. I think in RoboCop 3 is where they got somebody else, but if they got their reasons, that's fine. Are you a fan of horror movies? Yes, I am. I do like horror movies. Right? R.I.P. Toys R Us. R.I.P. Scrap from the original writers. Oh, let's see how that turns out. Do I think crossovers have peaked in the last decade? I don't know. Can't really say. Maybe. Um, there's definitely not as much enthusiasm behind crossovers as there was before, for sure. So, do I think that? Oh, this is a good question. Do you think David Yost could be successful having a PR reunion film on Netflix? Maybe, possibly. I know there's a lot of people that'd be down to see that. So, I mean, look, I mean, docu-series stuff seems to be doing very well on Netflix. I mean, look at the Toys That Made Us. It is killing it right now on Netflix. I mean, it is one of the top 3 docu-series shows on Netflix right now. And it hasn't even been out for a full year. People love that show. So it's gaining a lot of traction, momentum. And from talking with them, they plan on going as far as they can with that. There's other franchises that they're looking at potentially doing. Initially, they were only going to do those 8, but as long as people keep watching it as fiercely as they have, they plan on making more. So I actually like both films, but sorry that didn't work for you. Which films are you talking about? The RoboCop films? Let's see, Sally Martin, 16 or 17 at the time. Okay, Scare Black. No, no, no. The follow-up series, Ginga Prime, the follow-up series to Kamen Rider Black, Kamen Rider Black RX. That's the one that became Saban's Masked Rider. All right, let's see what other questions we got here. Deno is a great series. Deno is one of my favorite Kamen Rider shows. Do you think Hasbro will? All right, Lewis asks, do you think Hasbro will adapt Kamen Rider? I think they should. I think the American audience is definitely ready for it. It just depends on how they handle it. So, I think that they should definitely target it at a higher demographic, but still keep it within a reasonable children's demographic, but maybe target a little bit of a higher children demographic than Power Rangers, because I think that would fit better. But we'll see. I kept thinking. Oh, you've seen my picture of Captain Kirk with the tribble. I need to put that back up. I moved not too long ago, so I need to put that back up on the wall. That's one of my favorite prints that I've ever bought at a convention. I only bought that print for $5 too. Love that print. Boys in Motion. Oh, Michael Copon. I know Michael Copon. Nice guy. Very nice guy. I actually saw Michael Copon last weekend at Florida SuperCon. He was there with us at the Ranger Stop booth. All right, Lewis asked, do you want Noam Kaniel getting removed when Beast Morphers start? I don't know. I mean, that's not a decision that'd be up to me. It all depends on if Hasbro thinks he's doing a good job or not. So, I mean, as I have nothing against the guy. You know, he seems to know what he's doing as far as making music for children's TV shows. He has a passion for it, but I don't know. That's really up to Hasbro and what they think of how he's been doing. Yep, season 3 of Toys and Made Us. It's going to be baller. Be sure to tune in. Would Netflix or Hulu ever do a documentary about the 25-year history of Power Rangers franchise? I don't know, because that's super. It's still a super niche audience. You know, the potential is always there for something like that, for a project like that. So, and they definitely, both of those streaming services have the money. I guess what will gauge that would be seeing things like the Toys That Made Us, like the Power Rangers episode, because I'm sure that once they see the analytics for those episodes, they'll be able to see if that's something that would be viable to do. Now, from what I understand of the producer of the show, he loves like doing those types of projects, those docuseries types of projects. So there's always the potential for it is always out there, for sure. Oh, you meant, yeah, I didn't like either one of those movies, to be honest. Yeah, I didn't care for them. I don't think Justice League, I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. It's not good. There's just a lot of things that could have been done differently. Same thing with Power Rangers. Power Rangers, I don't think it's the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's definitely, in my personal opinion, it's not good. And not because of any type of purist feelings that I have or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's just not a good movie. If Brad Hawkins was the Gold Ranger, I don't know. That would have definitely, I think he definitely would have been more popular in the Ameritoku fandom, for sure. Had he been able to portray the Gold Ranger, for sure, that would have helped him, and it would have helped. You know, people would have recognized him from VR Troopers. So that'll be interesting. I didn't hear about that Barbados. With the right kind of people, they can't do well. Are you a member of Power Force? I don't think Power Force is a thing anymore, to be honest with you guys. And when it was, they never approached me about any kind of membership. Um, so I mean, I don't know if there's like a new Power Force or anything like that starting up. But no, I mean, I don't think that's even around anymore. And no, I'm not not a part of it. Never have been a part of it. Never been approached. So. Am I excited to see the Venom movie? No, that movie does not look like it's going to be any good. From watching the trailers, I don't think that that's going to be. It just. I don't think that movie's going to do good. The trailer did not appeal to me at all. Do I think that Hasbro would ever bring in Ron Wasserman? Ooh, I mean, there's maybe. Um, that wouldn't be a bad thing to bring him back. I think he could probably still add. I think he still has some. I think Ron Wasserman still has a lot to offer the Power Rangers franchise. Yes, I knew about Bryan Cranston doing voiceover work for Power Rangers. I did know about that. I believe he did the Snizzard and he did a couple other voices for some of the monsters on there. So I did know about that. I mean, who knows? They still might. Maybe there'll be enough resurgence in Power Rangers that they might do something like that. Well, I can tell you this, Common Writer Deno, the upcoming episode of The Toys That Made Us, they will actually be getting, at least as far as I understand, they will get into that. They will get into its roots. They will get into its origin, its Japanese origins. So just be on the lookout for that. You remember Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, the cartoon from USA Network? Yes, I remember that cartoon. It was not too good, but you know what? I will say this about Defenders of the Realm. Well, it was better than the Street Fighter cartoon. It was better than the Street Fighter and Darkstalkers cartoon. I will say that. Smog Ruler, I agree 100%. It is stupid to have a Venom movie without Spider-Man. Celebs who have unsuccessfully tried out to be Power Rangers. Well, I don't know any that I can name off the top of my head, but I will say this. Mark Dacascos, who ended up being the Advent Master in Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, and he's also the host of Iron Chef. He's been in a ton of like direct-to-video martial arts movies. He has also been in some A-list movies, like Only the Strong back in the day. He would have actually not only been the first Red Ranger, but he would have ended up being the first Asian Red Ranger had Bioman been picked up sooner. When Saban first made the pilot for Bioman, he would have ended up playing the role of Victor Lee. Do you think that the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie will at least be decent? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I hope so. I hope so. All right. Did you ever resolve your copyright claim? Trevor Head, I have not, as of yet, resolved that situation, but I hope to. I hope that we can resolve it. Worst case scenario, if they decide to uphold that claim, I could end up getting a copyright strike on my channel, which would absolutely suck. And it would definitely affect me doing stuff like this, doing the live stream Q&A where I can talk to you guys like this. And the video could also be removed, which, knock on wood, hopefully none of that happens. Hopefully they'll just release the claim because it does fall under fair use. But I mean, we just got to wait and see what happens. I'm hoping for the best, though. I'm hoping for the best. And I'm hoping, like I said, to just bring awareness of this whole situation out there so that not just me, but other people that are in this community don't keep having stuff like this happen to them, because it's completely unfair. I mean, I didn't use any kind of footage. I used maybe like 2 images that are Power Rangers related images, very briefly, way under 30 seconds. And yeah, they filed that claim on my video. So, all right. What I think of the Disney era as a whole. Well, Eli, I thought it was okay. It wasn't as bad as people. I remember there was a time when people were saying, "Oh, the Disney seasons are the worst." There's a lot of things that Disney think I did right. I think they did a lot of things right. I think there was things that they added to Power Rangers. They definitely, there's some things they mishandled too, but I thought it was okay overall. I didn't have a problem with the Disney era of Power Rangers. I thought that RPM, fantastic. I'm sure most of you have seen it already. I mean, by far, RPM is the best written show in terms of consistency, character development. I mean, everything. I mean, it was a great show. I mean, and the actors in the show were great too. That's the other thing about RPM. It is probably the best acted Power Rangers show. It's the one that feels the least campy and actually feels like a TV show. All the actors were fantastic for that season. Phaelus, the Phaelus reviews, watching the Phaelus reviews. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the Phaelus reviews is. You'll probably have to like, I'm assuming there's somebody here on YouTube. I'll look them up in a moment here. You hope to. Smog Ruler says, I hope to God Hasbro doesn't connect Power Rangers with the Transformers, at least not the Bayformers universe. I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree on that point. Why did the cast and crew from Operation Overdrive never discuss anything about the disappointing season at all? I don't know. Maybe for the, I mean, you got to remember, for a lot of these actors, this is their first job, and a lot of them, for some of them that have done other things, it's just another job. So maybe for some of them, they just do it and move on, and that's it, and don't think twice about it. So, but I don't know. I've never met any of the cast from Operation Overdrive, so I have no idea. Ginga Prime, I am in the process of trying to get a hold of somebody at Hasbro, but I don't know exactly who. You know, I've already attempted that. I'm still trying to see like who else I can. Oh, we got Squall Charleston in the chat. What is up, Squall? What's going on, man? If you guys have not checked out his channel, be sure to check him out. His content is absolutely fantastic. He's one of the pillars of this community. Yeah, no updates on the claims, man. No updates yet. I filed an appeal, and I'm just waiting it out. I have to wait for probably at most a month to hear something back. So, see the wave. I mean, if you guys want to do that, I mean, I would appreciate that wholeheartedly. I mean, thank you so much for even mentioning that. That would mean a lot to me. Anything that can help. I mean, any help I can get, I appreciate. I absolutely appreciate. So thank you guys for supporting and standing by me. Yeah, definitely. RPM having Judd Lynn definitely helped for sure. Judd understands the show better than most. So Bayless is another nostalgia critic. Do you mean like by you saying he's another nostalgia critic? Do you mean like he copies nostalgia critic, or do you mean that he's just like he does like a lot of nostalgia related content? Do you think we'll ever get an Asian Red Ranger? Yeah, I think so. I think it's only a matter of time. I think it's only a matter of time. I mean, before they have an Asian Red Ranger, I don't think it's something that they can avoid. So, don't worry, Squad man. They'll I think just try fighting the claim, man. I think at some point they'll have to let it go, because the thing is, Mr. Weenie Productions, he had a lot of his videos claimed over time, and eventually they released the claims on his videos. So it took a long time though. He was dealing with that for like years. I hope I won't have to deal with it that long. Hopefully it'll be resolved like, you know, before this next month. Fearless and Linkar, both huge Power Rangers fans, were once on Channel Awesome but have long since left. Let's have also victim of sexual abuse. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about the whole thing with Channel Awesome. The crazy thing about that though is that I had heard about that years ago from somebody that was working for the site, and actually that was one of the reasons why they had left. But it was way bigger reasons than just that this person left. You know, I'm not gonna name names who it is, but it was somebody in the know that told me about that years ago. Of course, you know, I had heard rumors on top of that, but you know, what can you do without people coming forward, right? Do you think we'll ever get a full-fledged female Red Ranger? Well, I mean, we had one in Power Ranger Samurai. Power Ranger Samurai, I believe she was pretty much a full-fledged female Red Ranger. As far as in a main role, I don't know. Again, it just all depends on Japan and how they do the shows. So, ah, okay, so he does a lot of reviews. I have to. Oh, maybe I'll look into him. Maybe I'll look into him and check him out. Oh man, 30 days already went up on yours, Squall. That sucks, dude. Yeah, we hopefully, man. Hopefully, hopefully with enough buzz, if people make enough buzz, we can get them to do something. I mean, they're not helping their cause by doing this. They're just alienating people, and they're gonna dissuade people from talking about the product if they keep doing this. And again, and it's a thing of like I don't even know if they're legit. They might be a third party doing this, and it sucks because if they're doing this, they're gonna end up hurting. They can end up hurting the brand, at least here online in terms of content creation. So, Fearless did Power Rangers bootleg videos, though. What do you mean by bootleg videos? You mean he was like making his own version of Power Rangers, dressed up as costumes, like any of his own fan films or something? Do I think that Beast Morphers will be faithful to the Sentai or go above and beyond like Time Force and RPM? I hope they go above and beyond. But even if they're faithful to it, I mean, they got a good story right there. Even if it's just them adapting the story. I mean, because that's what with RPM they made an original story for that season, which was fantastic. With Time Force, they heavily followed the Time Ranger story and they adapted it in a way that was very well done. So if they just adapt the story of Go Busters for the American audience in a way that is feasible, you'll see a good season. Now if they do something completely different and they have baller writers like they did on RPM, you have gold. So it just depends on what their approach is going to be. Will there ever be an all-American PR season with no Sentai counterpart? Oof. The closest thing we got to that was the Mystic Knights of Tir Nanog. I don't know if you guys remember that show, but it was a show that they were, I believe they filmed it. They filmed some of it in Ireland. I'm not entirely sure, but I mean that was probably the closest thing we got to. I mean, I would consider it to be a completely original American Toku show, but maybe. I mean, maybe at some point. It would be cool to see them use maybe some of the suit designs from previous seasons that might be a little bit dated now at this point. Maybe use those suit designs to make new shows, possibly, maybe, but I don't think that they would put the budget into that. It would cost them a lot to do that on top of already having to produce Power Rangers. So, but wishful thinking. Am I watching Lupat? No, I'm not. But I keep hearing really good things about it. Keep hearing really good things. I definitely want to watch it at some point. Well, Ultraman was adapted here a long time ago in 1992. It was I actually saw the Ultraman adapted series, Ultraman Towards the Future, which was really a series that was filmed in Australia. It was actually an English produced Ultraman series. Ultraman Towards the Future, and it aired over here in syndication in 1992. It was one of the things that helped me really get into Henshin hero shows. So, what is the oldest Sentai toy I own? I think the oldest one I own at this point is I have the Kuga Arkle belt. That is probably the oldest thing I own. I'm trying to see. I'm looking around to see if I have it in the room here. I have the Kuga Arkle belt. I still have it mint in the box. That is the oldest thing I own, 2001 or 2000. So don't have anything older than that. E-building gaming. You said please answer you. What do you want me to answer? What is your question? Awesome, Squall. Yeah, put it out there, man. Just put it out there. I mean, it's the only way that we're going to be able to, I'll retweet it, and I'll put it out there as much as I can. Hopefully, we'll be able to get Hasbro's attention and they'll do something about this because it's getting ridiculous, man. I mean, the fact that this is still even happening is ridiculous to me, especially considering it's entirely fair use. So, and while I understand, from a legal standpoint, companies can still do that with imagery. It's like, come on, man, you're really grasping at straws when you're doing it on imagery that's only up for maybe like a second or two. That does not give you the right to try to claim revenue on somebody else's work, in my opinion, or that's not enough to justify, I should say, claiming revenue on somebody else's work, in my opinion, because it's a transformative work, but it is what it is. Bootleg Power Rangers toys. Oh, there's a ton of those out there. There's so many out there. There's so many out there. My buddy Zarin Sefer, he absolutely loves bootleg toys. All right, let's see. What's your favorite, PR roll, morph roll call besides this morphin time? Um, hmm. I mean, I thought Let's Rock It was fun. Let's Rock It from Power Rangers in Space. Do you think Zordon would have been the first Power Ranger before being trapped in the time warp? Maybe, but I like the idea of him as being some kind of space wizard or sorcerer. That seemed like a cool idea. Well, yeah, Go Busters was paid a little bit of homage to Power Rangers, so I hope they keep that in there too. Like when their morphers saying it's morphin time. I hope they keep that in there. I doubt that they will, but I hope they do. Have I watched the Zordon of Eltar fan film trailer? Yes, I did. I did see that. Really, Mystic Knights is owned by Disney? I'm surprised Saban didn't get that back. Interesting. If that's true. Will you be at Power Morphicon? No, I will not. I unfortunately will not be there. But you know what? I think Squall's going to be there, right? Squall, you're going to be at Power Morphicon, right? Got to be there to rep us, bro. All right. Have you watched the Chinese tokusatsu TV series called Armor Hero? I have not seen that yet. Armor Hero is sick. I guess I'm gonna have to check it out. I have seen this old. It's a kung fu movie. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but it's called Inframan. It is fantastic. It is the marriage of tokusatsu and kung fu, and it is great. It's a Shaw Brothers movie, and it is fantastic. It came out, I think, in like the 60s or 70s. So he has a little bit of an Ultraman look mixed with Battle Fever J. It's a fantastic movie. You could buy it on Amazon for like $10, I think, or on eBay. Great movie. I own it. Are you going to try and watch Gridman anime? I am going to try. I am going to try when it's out. I'm going to try that, and I'm going to try to watch the Ultraman series that's coming to Netflix as well. All right, let's see. Ultraman, the ultimate hero. All right, let's see. We're going to answer some questions here. Um, Check out the Comic Con, Grand Rapids, Michigan. I don't know that I'll be there, but let's get to it. Oh, Squall Charleston's going to be there. You heard it here first. He's going to be there, guys. Be sure to mob him. No, no, I'm kidding. And by mob him, I don't mean in a bad way, obviously. Am I excited for Geo? it definitely has piqued my interest in Kamen Rider for sure. I always like those seasons where you could potentially see older writers, and it looks like that one has a lot of potential for it. So I'm definitely excited for it. Ninja is great. For as far as Henshin Time Part 10, still working on it. Don't have an ETA on it just yet, but I can tell you guys that you can expect to see Catherine Sutherland, um, Steve Cardenas, Johnny Young Bosch will be back in it. That's it so far, as far as I know, at least from what I remember. Okay, let's see. It's free on Prime. Oh, Inframan was free on Prime. It's a great movie. Do I watch Mech X4? No, I have not seen that. Do you think somebody and Sierra Hanna are gonna Ryu from Street Fighter? I don't know about any film they're doing. That's interesting. Think of the Battle Fever J. I think Battle Fever J would have done if it was adapted. I think Battle Fever J. See, I don't think that Battle Fever J would have done all that well because of the. In order for them to transform, they did their whole dancing spiel. I don't think that that's something that even around the time that I don't think that that's something that would have been a little bit too campy for an American audience. I think at that point in time, I think those Sun Vulcan potentially, because that was the series that Stan Lee wanted to adapt over here. I think that one would have probably been better, or Denzi Man probably would have been better to try to adapt over here for an American audience. I don't think that Battle Fever J would have gone over as well. I think it would have been a little too hokey for American taste with the dancing and then with the giant robot and stuff. I think with Denzi Man and Sun Vulcan, I think that there would have been a little bit more leeway there. I think the dancing in it might have even turned some kids off. So Face did a review of Power Rangers bootleg toys in some of his videos. I'll have to check them out sometime. Zarin Sefer has done a lot of bootleg toy reviews too. You guys should check them out. They're pretty funny. Are you a gamer? Oh heck yeah! I love gaming. I mean, maybe someday I'll show you guys, but on my shelf over here, I have like a ton of games, a ton. So, and I actually have a Twitch channel. If you guys want to check that out, just hit me up on Twitch, if anything, or follow me on Twitch. It's Toy Bounty Hunters on Twitch. And I'm planning on maybe live streaming there sometimes too when I play some of the games, when I find some time to play some of these games. I've just been working on videos and stuff. So, and also I have a secondary channel for you guys that want to subscribe to that. It's Johnnymus Prime. So I'm going to be talking about other stuff there. I might be doing more gaming related stuff on that channel, as well as some more like commentary stuff that I don't usually really do here on this channel. So yeah, I agree with you, Smog. I think that the costumes wouldn't have gone over well, and I don't think that the whole aesthetic, you know, the giant robot along with the dancing, I don't think it would have been good to adapt for an American audience. So Power Rangers has absolutely influenced Sentai. The Battleizer, right there, right off the top of my head, they didn't have Battleizers until Power Rangers. Power Rangers started the Battleizers thing. That's something that clearly influenced Super Sentai, because that was an original idea that we put into the show, and then it was adapted over into Super Sentai. So I'm sure not just that, but the first example I could think of that I could point to directly is that one. Yeah, I know about it. It was intended to be a Captain America. Actually, once they had Miss America would have potentially been the first female leader of a Super Sentai team. They actually wanted her to be the leader, but they changed it. They said, no, you know, it has to be Captain Japan, you know, or it has to be, you know, the being, I think, or Battle Japan. They said it has to be Battle Japan because, you know, it's a Japanese show. It's got to be Battle Japan. So The only positive thing about you is your HIV status. That's not very nice. And who are you referring to? You're referring to me? Were you born in 1983? No, I was born before 1983. Are you a fan of Star Wars? Yes, I am, but not. I'm not like a huge super fan of Star Wars. I might actually be a bigger fan of Star Trek, but I would consider myself a fan of Star Wars. Not a fan of the last couple movies that have come out, but I am a fan of Star Wars. Space to Leader. Never heard of that. Yeah, yeah. It was the first. Yeah, but that was something that was influenced by us here with Power Rangers in Space. Was the Battleizer. Do you think there will be a Beast Morphers teaser or trailer in the next 2 days of San Diego Comic Con? Probably. Probably. At the very least, there'll be some kind of teaser. I don't think they've done any kind of. I don't think they probably haven't done any kind of filming um, of anybody in suits. They'll probably just do maybe a teaser, if anything, or if anything, they'll probably use like the stock footage from the show as part of the teaser if they do one. So, but yeah, probably. Yeah, I heard about Clone Wars returning. I think that's cool. A lot of people are excited about that. That's very cool that they're bringing that back because I know that was a super popular series when it was on TV. So, do you like ET Go Home? I don't know what that is. Is that a movie? Are you a fan of Dragon Ball? Of the original Dragon Ball series, I did watch some of it. I actually watched Dragon Ball before I watched Dragon Ball Z. I watched it when it was first here on American TV. I watched it in syndication. But I saw Dragon Ball Z. I saw that fan subbed before I saw it licensed over here. Are you excited for Clone Wars Season 7? I have to watch Clone Wars. I hear nothing but good things about Clone Wars, even back then when it was on TV. Just never got around to watching it. Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, I see. I didn't like Last Jedi or Force Awakens. I thought Force Awakens is definitely better than Last Jedi in my opinion, but I overall as movies, overall as Star Wars movies, I didn't care for them. The main cast for Beast, yeah, probably they probably will be revealed at PMC for sure. I mean, that's something I'm sure that they're going to keep at least that tradition alive in order to transition over from you know now that it's being uh, now that it's Hasbro over Saban. I'm sure that they'll keep that just to keep a smooth transition going. I'm sure that they will reveal who the cast is going to be at PMC this year. What is the list of tokusatsu shows that you need to watch? Well, I definitely want to finish the second season of Garo. Another one that I want to watch that I've only seen a couple episodes for is Kamen Rider Amazons is another one I want to watch. I want to see X-Aid just because I've heard a lot of good things about it. And the other series that I want to see is Go Kaiger because I actually have not seen Go Kaiger, and that's another one that I hear nothing but good things about. So, have I seen Star Trek Discovery? I have not. I have not, but I do know. But I've heard. Is that the newest one with Michelle Yeoh, or was that the fan made series that Vic McNona did? Do you think that Hasbro could do a PR MLP crossover at least as a quick joke? Maybe. Don't be surprised if in these upcoming seasons of Power Rangers you see a lot of maybe like Hasbro products placed in some episodes, maybe like Transformers toys lying around in the scene or maybe something in the background. I wouldn't be surprised if they do stuff like that because I can tell you this. There's been so many companies that have been shameless in doing that. I don't see why Hasbro wouldn't do it. So maybe they'll have maybe some MLP stuff in the background. As far as it actually be a crossover, I don't know. But hey, I mean, look, you got to think Saban, when they had the license for Ninja Turtles, they had a crossover episode. So there you go. I appreciate that, Michael Sanders. I am a fan of Jonathan Frakes. Number one. Dude, I think casting will be final this time around with Beast Morphers. I think so. Well, let's hope so, because I know that I think you're referring to the Ninja Steel cast, that they had cast somebody else as the Yellow Ranger, and they revealed them initially, and then by the time the show came around, it was somebody else that was playing the role of the Yellow Ranger. So you're the first person who hasn't seen Gokaiger. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. What do I expect for the 25th anniversary episode? I expect it to be better than the last reunion episode that they had, at the very least, because I don't think it could get any worse. I mean, I saw enough clips of the Legendary War. It's not well done. It was not well done. Actually, I think that might have been the only Megaforce episode I watched. It was not well done. So, did I watch the 1980s Transform? Oh, absolutely. I watched the heck out of that movie. I love that movie. I love Transformers. I grew up with all that stuff. Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, all that. He-Man. I mean, even lesser known obscure shows like, Spiral Zone and things like that. Dino Saucers, all that. A team up between Kamen Rider, Dragon Knight, and Power Rangers. That would have been interesting to see. But yeah, they're owned by the different ownership though there. Do you think that Nickelodeon cares about Power Rangers? I don't think it's a matter of whether, well, they care about it in the sense of ratings, obviously. So, but as far as how they feel, it's just programming for them. I mean, as far as whether or not they're passionate about it or not, I don't know. I mean, it's just programming for them. It's they just want shows on their network that are going to get good ratings, and Power Rangers can pull good ratings, but it can also underperform if you don't utilize it properly. So do I think so Gingaman Prime asks, even though you're not that excited for Ryu Ranger, do you think that Ryu Ranger versus Lord Dragon fight would be epic? I mean, I'm sure. And I'm sure that's what Bat in the Sun might be playing at, to do something like that, because they know that they could get JDF involved. So that's probably what they're playing at. Oh, that's awesome, Michael Sanders. Have you watched any Godzilla movies? Oh, of course, a whole bunch. Whole bunch. Love Godzilla. I'm a Tokusatsu fan through and through. Whether it be Godzilla, whether it be Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, or even more obscure stuff, I'm a Tokusatsu fan. Okay, Spiral Mania all the way. What if it was picked up by another network like HBO, maybe? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say HBO would be a good fit for Power Rangers, personally. I think that if they don't go to another network, I think the best bet for them is to look at streaming as a potential option for them, I think. From Die Ranger. What's that? Legacy Wars. That's awesome, Michael Sanders. Sure, I'll look forward to that, man. My opinion on Power Rangers moving to Discovery Kids after 2021 might be a better fit, just depending. But I don't know. I mean, Nickelodeon is known for its kids programming, so it all depends on how the ratings go, I guess, for Beast Morphers. I mean, if it's good enough to convince Hasbro to renew a contract with Nickelodeon, it might end up staying on Nickelodeon. I hope not. If they're going to continue to, I guess, handle it the way they've been handling it, but we'll have to wait and see. Did I hear about the Star Wars fanboy attack Kelly Marie Tran, who played Rose in The Last Jedi, by tweeting her racism thing? Um, I know a little bit about that situation, but I don't believe that that's why she left social media. There hasn't been any proof to prove that. Like, she hasn't come out and said that that's the reason why she left social media. She apparently said it's because she needed to focus on other things. Here's what I'll say, at least as in regards to fandoms go. There's always going to be trolls in a fandom. But I don't think that you can blame the fandom as a whole just because they don't like something and say that they're just, they're toxic just because they don't have the best opinion of a certain movie. There's always going to be people that are going to do jerky things. But you can't attack the fans and say, oh, it's because of you guys, you're the ones that did this, you toxic fans are the ones that did this, without having any real proof. And in that particular situation, yes, I'm sure she got a lot of mean things and racist things said to her, but there's no direct proof. Like, she hasn't come out and said herself, this is the reason why I left social media. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's all speculative. And really, directors, like, one thing that rubs me the wrong way is when directors do things like that, like Rian Johnson, blaming fans, like there's something wrong with you if you have an opposing opinion. It's okay to have an opposing opinion about something. There's a clear difference in that than, being a jerkwad and actually attacking someone. But, that's a very small minority of people that are doing that. The trolls are a very small minority in comparison to the fans as a whole. If somebody just doesn't like something, that's okay. That's okay. There's people that love the Power Rangers movie. I have nothing negative at all to say about that. I think, that's fine if you liked it. I'm a person that I personally did not like it. You know what I mean? And I have my legit criticisms of it. That doesn't make me a toxic fan. I just didn't like it. You know what I mean? And I think that's one thing that happens way too much, is people being labeled as something without any real kind of proof. So, yeah, it would have been called something. It would have probably been called Bioman Lewis. He seemed to like the name, so Biorhythm would have been like, what the power was called. So, HBO has Sesame Street. It's a good fit for anything. Maybe. I don't know. I know, but that's maybe. I don't know. I just, for me, I don't know. I don't see it as viable for it. I don't know, but I could be wrong. Maybe you're right. Maybe it could be a good fit for it. All right, Paul Beam, thanks for joining the stream, buddy. Appreciate it. Appreciate having you on here. Thank you for the questions. Have you seen a TV show called Beavis and Butthead? A long time ago. Oh, that's awesome, Michael Sanders. Yeah, they're all very nice people. Do you think the new Star Wars films are better than the prequels? I'll tell you this. There's a lot of things in the newer Star Wars films that people complained about in the prequels. So that's where I kind of scratch my head in puzzlement when I see people praise the newer movies and say that they're so great, because there's a lot of the same tropes and a lot of the same things that people disliked about the prequels in these newer movies as well. So it's like, I don't know. See, here's the thing. I'll tell you guys this. When the prequels were out, I guarantee you, I remember the buzz around them. They were not universally hated as they are now. That's something that became a fad after the fact, at least from my perspective, to hate on the prequels. I mean, sure, there was people that didn't like them as much, but they weren't seen as bad as they are now. Like they seem like cancerous to people now when they look at them. So, I mean, to me, the prequels, obviously, there's nothing that'll ever touch the original trilogy. Nothing. Not the new ones, not the prequels, nothing. Those were the gold standard. But there was things to like about the prequels. I think in each one of those parts, there's things you could take away and like about each one of them. So, and that's the way I viewed them. I knew even watching them back then, they're not as good as the original, but there was things I could take from each one of those movies that I did like. So, but they're not good movies. I will say that. Do you like Disney era PR seasons? I thought they were okay. Some of them are hit or miss. Met David Jones and Walter Jones at my local Comic Con. Awesome guys. Yeah, Walter Jones is super laid back and chill. They both seem to be pretty laid back and chill, to be honest. So, what is your favorite Super Sentai? Jetman. Yeah, I agree with you, Emmanuel. Slapping an R rating onto a movie doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make it better. I mean, it definitely lifts up restrictions, but doesn't necessarily equal better movie. A Final Fantasy Power Rangers crossover, that'd be interesting. Maybe Barbados. Maybe they could potentially do another samurai themed Super Sentai down the line. I wouldn't expect it anytime soon, but maybe potentially. That seems to be like an every 10-year or so type of thing that they do. If they stick to a specific theme of something. Who would win? Kamen Rider Build versus Kamen Rider Faiz. See, I haven't seen Build, so I can't say with any kind of certainty. That it wouldn't be fair for me to give an opinion on that. I mean, I've seen Faiz, and I love Faiz. Faiz is great. But I don't know what Build is capable of, so. What I think of Solo Star. I haven't seen Solo yet. I haven't seen Solo, and I haven't seen Rogue One. I've seen The Force Awakens and I've seen The Last Jedi, and I didn't like either one of them. I liked Last Jedi even less, or even less. I liked it even less than I liked Force Awakens. I thought it was worse, way worse. Thoughts on Dragon Ball GT? I've only seen the first couple episodes of GT. I didn't like it. I think Pan is the most annoying character ever in the history of Dragon Ball. It's just my opinion. And I hope that for at least if they decide to continue going with Dragon Ball, that they never, they keep her as a baby for as long as possible, because she was absolutely obnoxious. What's the worst superhero film you've ever seen? For me, I'd say Fantastic Four. So you mean the newer Fantastic Four. Worst superhero movie I've ever seen. Wow. There's a lot. As far as the worst one that I can think of, oof. I don't know. I don't know. I can't off the top of my head. I mean, maybe the original Punisher movie, but man, probably not even that. And I'm talking about the one with Dolph Lundgren. But I don't know. Maybe the first Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren, maybe. Rogue One was good. Skip Solo. Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of good things. Guyver Bean. Do you think that Saban's Power Rangers YouTube channel is the official Power Rangers YouTube channel owned by Hasbro? I don't know, because see, I keep hearing there's people that are a little bit more in the know about that than me. I don't know if Squall is still in here. But Squall, you still in here, bud? There's things that I've heard that it might be a channel that's owned by a third-party site, third-party Power Rangers news site. I don't know that for a fact. I mean, because people say, well, it links to all the official other channels, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they are official, though. Even with that, because I'll give you an example. There's a channel on here on YouTube called Jim Cornette's Talking Sense that has been verified. But the thing about that channel is it is actually not run by Jim Cornette. It is run by somebody else who told Jim Cornette that they are taking clips of his podcast and then cutting them up and uploading them onto YouTube. So he has like an agreement with Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette knows that he's doing it, but he's not actually, the guy who runs the channel is not actually Jim Cornette. He's just kind of doing it with his blessing. And even before that, he was doing it without Jim Cornette's blessing. So the thing is, but he's verified. So you would think by looking at it, oh, this must actually belong to Jim Cornette. Well, it actually doesn't. It actually belongs to a third party, a third party, and he's the one that's just uploading those clips of his own volition. So when you see stuff like that, it definitely is worth questioning whether or not this channel is legitimate or not, because it could be the same type of situation where it's just somebody that, because they're the only one and because they've made it look like they're official, they've gotten verified. You know, I think the verification process only really goes through on if you have a name of certain something and you link it all to that. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll find out here in the near future. Super Saiyan 4 is the best part of GT. Do you agree? Maybe. I mean, it was an interesting design. Spinal. I mean, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah, it hasn't aged well, but it still will always have a certain degree of charm to it. And there are some episodes that are pretty well written. You know, the action and the special effects in it are the things that haven't aged well, but it's still all right. You know, it still has a lot of episodes that are right, and you get a good amount of character development in some of those episodes. So. Jesus Ceros, hi, how you doing? I Come in Peace. I've seen that movie too. That movie is not good. Do you think third party? Do you think it's a third party copyright? I mean, Barbados. It could be a third party. It's possible. There's always the possibility that it is a third party. I can't. And again, I'll say this once again, just putting it on the record out there. I can't say with 100% certainty that it is a third party because I don't have any proof of that. But I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if it were either. Have I seen the Disney movie called Coco? Yes, I have. My favorite part of that movie is when El Santo appears. El Santo is probably the most famous Mexican wrestler of all time. So I got a kick out of seeing his ghost in that movie, or his dead form. Do you think the Power Rangers Beast Morphers? I mean, it has the potential to be a really great season. It just depends on who they have writing. It's obvious that they are taking it seriously because they're bringing people over from Saban to try to, they know how to handle it. People like Judd Lin. I mean, I just hope they get a good writing team behind it. $20.25. How are they going to explain SPD? I don't know. That's a good question. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they'll have a crossover with SPD. The next Henshin time, that'll come out. I mean, I'll put out announcements for it. I'll put it out there when it's coming out. I don't know exactly when at this point, but I'll be putting it out there. Just look out for a trailer. I mean, I hope to have it done here soon, but I've had some setbacks with it, but I'm looking to get back into editing it here and hopefully have it done soon. And there's a simple explanation of that. So it'll be pulling a Gosei now. All right, guys, I'm going to take a couple more questions from y'all, and then I'm going to wrap it up for the night. So be sure to ask away. And I'm going to try to see if I can do another one of these live streams next week, and I might even do a stream on Twitch. Maybe not tomorrow, but maybe the day after. For those of you that don't know, I am also on Twitch, so just find me on there, Toy Bounty Hunters, on Twitch. Follow the social media too to get the updates. I don't know that it'll be around Christmas time. It might be sooner than that if I can help it, but it might be. It just depends. Working on it, so it might even be a lot sooner than that. It just all depends. So I got some stuff I got to do here for the next couple months. I'm sure that they'll have a Christmas or a Halloween special. All right, Guyver Bean asked, "Do you think the Power Rangers Beast Morphers will be produced by Hasbro Studios or AllSpark Pictures?" It's a good question. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm assuming AllSpark is another one of their production companies. So one or the other, I would guess. What are some of the pros cons of Fox being with Disney aside from Mutants and F4? What are the pros? I mean, there's no cons for not at this point. Well, there'll only be cons depending on what they produce from here on out. If it's just garbage or if it ends up being any good. So, what's your favorite Kamen Rider Henshin? I really like Kamen Rider Black Henshin. I might like his the best. I hope the full version of the Bioman pilot gets released someday. I hope. I would love to see it. I doubt it'll ever see the light of day. I don't know if they ever made digital copies of it, so the film might have degraded. I hear that Haim Saban kept a VHS copy of the pilot in his desk for the longest time. So I don't know if that copy still exists. I haven't heard anything about that, but hopefully there is a copy of it out there somewhere, and I hope we get to see it someday. Guyver Bean, my final thoughts about Power Morphicon is pretty much, I'm hoping everybody has fun. I'm hoping it's a great show. I'm hoping that there'll be a lot of announcements and news coming out regarding Hasbro. I hope Hasbro has a panel there and they can kind of talk about what their plans are with Power Rangers. It'd be interesting to hear what they have planned for it. And I'm sure they'll have a cast announcement for Beast Morphers. I don't see why not. It would be a good opportunity and it would help the transition. So, yeah, Barbados, I agree. I hope they do that too. I hope they bring back some of the original actors from some of the previous seasons. Well, you got to remember, when they did Kamen Rider Decade, a lot of the characters that they had were actually a mixture of other characters, because they were actually the ones that weren't the original actors from those seasons. The way they fixed that was by pretty much merging certain characters and calling them something different. Because remember, Decade was going to alternate realities. He was going to alternate universes. He wasn't going through I guess what we would consider to be the main Kamen Rider universe. He was going through alternate universes. That's why they could get away with not having a lot of the original actors portray those roles, because it was a different reality. It was a different. It was an alternate universe. So I haven't watched all of the Ultraman shows, Ram Jam. I like Nexus though. I think Nexus is a great show. That's the one I've watched the most. And I've seen a little bit of Mebius, and I've seen Ultraman Towards the Future, which I liked a lot too. But I think Nexus is the one I like the most. Beast Morphers could end up having an original Sixth Ranger. We'll have to wait and see. Is Guy Yuki your favorite Jetman character? I liked Guy a lot, but I don't know. I mean, I liked Red Hawk too. I thought he was a great leader. I thought he was one of the best leaders I've seen in a Super Sentai show. We see exclusive Rangers and Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Maybe. All right, guys. Well, this is where I'm going to wrap it up. thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate all the questions. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Be sure to follow me on social media at Toy Bounty Hunter on Twitter, on Facebook, like the page. You know, it's Toy Bounty Hunters. If you guys want to catch me on Twitch, I'll probably be doing a live stream on Twitch. Probably going to be, you know, playing some game on there. I'll announce it on the Twitter page, but look me up on Twitch, Toy Bounty Hunters. The link is actually in the description below. All the links are in the description below if you guys want to get on either one of those there and find me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys want to check out my other channel too, I'm going to be uploading a video there tomorrow on the Jonimus Prime channel, but I'll also be doing another video on here probably tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. Guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. I'm glad that I could be entertaining, see the wave. Yeah, you guys have a good night. You guys take care.